Miss Nena raised a clenched fist. Go in. Quiet and fast. The guards split into two groups. Fola ran with the first unit through the side fence. The air smelled of burning oil and wood. He coughed through the smoke. Then he heard it. Scream. Help! He followed the voice, dodging fire, until he saw two figures sprinting toward the dock. Zena and another girl. Zena! Fola shouted. He turned. Her face lit up. Fola! But before they could reach each other, gunshots rang out. Ajala's men had found them. Fola dove forward, shielding Zena behind a wooden canoe. Kemi ducked beside her. Two of Nena's men returned fire. Zena handed Fola the flash drive she had hidden inside her pocket. They tried to destroy everything, but I saved it. Fola smiled, holding her hand. You saved me first. A moment later, Miss Nena arrived with backup. The enemies were outnumbered. They fled into the burning forest. Fola, Zena, and Kemi were pulled into the SUV, coughing but alive. As the convoy drove away, the compound behind them crumbled into ashes. In the safety of Chief Ade's mansion, a doctor checked their wounds. They were dehydrated but safe. Chief Ade entered quietly. He looked at Kemi. You're the sister of Ayula, right? She nodded slowly. He opened his arms and she collapsed into his hug, crying. Then he turned to Fola and Zena. I told you lions are hunted too. But you outran the fire. Fola took a deep breath. It's time, he said. Let the world hear the truth. This time the stage was silent but steady. The countdown had returned, for real. In 3, 1, live. NTA Evening Special Broadcast. Across Nigeria, screens flickered. Market women paused their counting. Bus drivers turned up their radios. Even prisoners in cells leaned forward. On screen stood Chief Ade, proud and composed. Beside him, Fola dressed in a white native outfit, his lion circle pendant shining. Behind them, Zena and Kemi, faces calm, but eyes burning with truth. Chief Ade stepped to the podium. Good evening, Nigeria. Years ago, I created something called Project Lionheart, a plan to change the future for the forgotten. But it was destroyed. Not by strangers, but by someone I called a friend. He stepped back. Fola took a deep breath and stepped forward. My name is Fola Akinyemi, and I was once a puff-puff seller on Lagos mainland. I have no rich father, no title, but I've seen pain. And I've seen hope. He held up a folder. This file contains documents, bank statements, foreign transfers, and stolen names. Proof that Chief Ajala, the same man many celebrate, looted millions meant for orphans and schools. A buzz rippled across the country. Screens split. Real images of starving children in white uniforms. Tunnels beneath Mile 12. Falsified receipts, and voice recordings from prison. Then came a surprise. Kemi stepped forward. My name is Kemi Ayula. My brother Ayula tried to expose this truth years ago. He disappeared. I was taken. Am now free. But so many others still suffer because of this man. She held Zena's hand. And we won't stay silent. The feed returned to Fola. I am not a politician. I am not a celebrity. I am a Nigerian who wants justice. And today I call on the people, speak. Please. Demand. He paused. Then added. Lions don't stay silent forever. The screen faded to black. The nation went silent for 2 full seconds, then erupted. Social media exploded. Hashtag justice for Lionheart. Hashtag Ajala must fall. Fola is the voice we need. Newspapers started printing emergency late-night editions. Police headquarters received over 200 calls in 1 hour demanding Ajala's arrest. International embassies sent requests for copies of the documents. Inside his luxury apartment, Chief Ajala smashed his glass. His face twisted. They want a fight, he growled. Then let's give them one. But in the heart of the lion's den, Fola sat quietly on a bench beside Zena. She looked at him and asked, Are you okay? He nodded slowly. I've never been more ready. The city of Lagos didn't sleep that night. The streets buzzed with chants. Markets turned into message boards. Walls bore graffiti. Lions rise. Ajala must fall. Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. Every feed was full of Fola's face. TV stations replayed the broadcast. Radio hosts took live calls from furious citizens. Students organized peaceful walks. Churches and mosques prayed aloud. The country had spoken. But so had Ajala. At 6 a.m., a press release hit the news. EFCC issues arrest warrant for Chief Ajala. Assets to be frozen. The whole country cheered. But inside a quiet, dimly lit compound in Asokoro, Ajala wasn't clapping. He stood before a table stacked with passports, burner phones, and cash bundles. One of his men whispered, "Sir, we can get you out tonight. Through Benin border. Safe house is ready." Ajala stared at the TV. Fola's face again. His fingers tapped the table slowly. Then he said softly, "No." Everyone looked up. "I'm not running. I'm fighting." "But sir." "I said I'm not running. Let the boy feel what it means to challenge an empire." He turned to his assistant. "Activate code black." The man blinked. "Sir, are you sure? That could do it." Back in Lagos, Fola woke to the smell of akara. Mama had cooked early. Sei danced around, holding a small toy lion. "You're trending, big bro," she giggled. Fola smiled, but the weight on his chest remained. Then his phone rang. Miss Nena. Her voice was urgent. "Fola, we have a problem." "What's wrong?" "Ajala has declared political war. He's bribing lawmakers, threatening governors, buying silence. And he sent a message." "What message?" "I'll forward it." A second later, Fola opened a video file. Ajala sat calmly in a gold chair. He spoke. "The boy thinks he's a lion. But lions don't grow from the gutter. If this country chooses a street rat over legacy, then let it burn. Fola gave you one chance. Now I take everything." That afternoon, 3 key witnesses disappeared. One charity staffer was found unconscious. And a judge overseeing Ajala's arrest warrant suddenly resigned. The news began to shift. TV anchors now said, "Is Fola backed by foreign sponsors?" Ajala denies all accusations, calls it a smear campaign. Is this just another political drama? Fola watched the headlines change again. His face went cold. Zena sat beside him, reading the same news. "He's turning the country against you again," Fola whispered. "Then we turn up the heat." At the Lion Circle headquarters, Fola met with Chief Ade, Miss Nena, and 2 others. Chief Ade spoke first. "The country believes in you, Fola. But Ajala knows how to confuse them. If we don't act fast, his money will bury the truth." Miss Nena added, "We need one final blow. Not just against Ajala, but his network." Fola's eyes lit up. "What if I could trace the bribe trail? Show the money moving?" Chief Ade leaned forward. "You know how." Fola nodded slowly. "I know someone who does." That night, Fola called a name he had promised to forget. Bayo. Chief Ade's nephew. The same man who once tried to frame Fola. The phone rang once. Then Bayo answered. "You must be desperate if you're calling me." Fola replied, voice steady. "I'm not asking for peace. I'm offering purpose. I know you have Ajala's money trail. Help me finish this. Or, stay a footnote while I become the roar that rewrote Lagos." Silence. Then Bayo chuckled. "Meet me at dawn." The sun had not yet risen when Fola arrived at the abandoned warehouse near Ibut Meta, wearing a hoodie and carrying only a phone. The air was quiet. Too quiet. Crows cawed from the power lines above. The streets were still asleep. Inside the warehouse he saw him, Bayo, Chief Ade's nephew, the same man who once mocked him, who tried to frame him for theft. Now leaning casually against a broken crate, dressed in a sharp designer jacket. He turned as Fola entered. "You really came," Bayo said with a smirk. "I didn't think you had the guts." Fola stood tall. "I'm not here for you. I'm here for justice." Bayo laughed. "You sound like one of those motivational speakers on TikTok." "Where's the file?" Fola asked. Bayo raised his hand and tossed a small hard drive in the air, catching it. "This," he said. "It's everything. Count numbers, phone call logs, even secret recordings of Ajala bribing politicians. He used my name for most of them. So I kept the receipts." Fola stepped forward. "Then let's finish this. Hand it over." But Bayo didn't move. Instead he said, "I have a condition." Fola's eyes narrowed. "What?" Bayo walked in slow circles. "I give you this, and in return, you convince Chief Ade to clear my name publicly. Announce I was part of the plan to stop Ajala. Let me back into the lion's circle. I want power, position, not prison." Fola's chest tightened. "You want redemption, after everything you did?" Bayo's voice grew colder. "Fola, let's not act like saints. You came from the gutter. I was born in silk. But you crawled into my world and took everything. Respect, attention, the future I was promised." Fola replied, "I didn't take anything. I earned it." Bayo tossed the hard drive to him. Fola caught it. "That's the price," Bayo said. "I want to be seen as a lion, not a traitor." Fola stared at the drive in his hand. It was everything. With this, they could expose Ajala's entire financial web. All the people he'd bought, every dollar he laundered. But to use it, he'd have to forgive Bayo. Fola asked, "If I refuse, will you stop me?" Bayo shook his head. "No. But I'll destroy what little is left of your name in this city. I still have friends. Quiet ones." Fola breathed in deeply. Then he said, "Fine. But this isn't about power. It's about truth. You'll speak publicly, admit your part, and help rebuild what you tried to burn." Bayo raised a brow. "So, partners?" Fola didn't answer. He turned and walked away with the hard drive. Behind him, Bayo whispered, "You may be the face of the lion now, Fola. But even lions bleed." Back at Chief Ade's mansion, Miss Nena ran a scan on the drive. Her eyes widened. "This is it," she said. "Every secret, every shell company, even names of foreign agents." Chief Ade asked, "Where did you get this?" Fola looked down. "From your blood, but not your brother." The chief sighed. "Bayo." "Yes. He wants back in." Miss Nena shook her head. "That's dangerous," Fola said. "So is letting Ajala win." That night, Chief Ade stood before the Lion's Circle elders. He held the drive in one hand, and a letter in the other. He said, "The boy has brought the truth. But truth always comes with blood." The mansion was silent, but the tension inside it was loud. Inside the Lion's Circle war room, 12 members sat at a long table, each one a respected elder or key leader from the movement. Some wore agbadas, others kaftans, one even wore jeans and a cap. But all of them had sharp eyes, and even sharper tongues. At the head of the table sat Chief Ade. Beside him stood Fola, holding the hard drive. The room had seen powerful moments before, but nothing like this. Chief Ade's voice was calm but carried weight. "We now hold the final piece to bring Ajala down. Every account, every voice recording, every receipt." He paused. "But there's a price." The room murmured. "What price?" "Bayo," Chief Ade said. Fola stepped forward. "He gave us the drive. But in return, he wants to be publicly cleared. He wants back into the circle." At once, the room erupted. "Impossible! That boy tried to ruin us. He almost destroyed Fola. Can we really trust him?" Miss Nena raised a hand. "He may be poison. Letting him in could destroy us from the inside." One elder said coldly, "Letting a snake sleep in your bed does not make it your friend." Chief Ade tapped his cane. We vote at sunrise. Until then, think. Pray. Decide. As night fell, Fola sat alone on the balcony, looking over Lagos. The city lights blinked like stars on earth. Zena joined him quietly, handing him a cup of zobo. "You okay?" she asked. Fola shook his head. "Every time we get close to justice, something pulls us back." Zena sipped her drink. "Justice is a war. And wars have sacrifices." Just then, Miss Nena burst onto the balcony, phone in hand, face pale. "Fola!" He stood up. "What happened?" Her voice cracked. "They got to Sei." Fola froze. "No!" Zena gasped. "Sei. Your little sister." Miss Nena nodded slowly. "Ajala's men. They were watching. She was walking home from evening classes. She's gone." Fola's hands dropped the cup. It shattered on the ground. His knees buckled. "No, not her. Not my baby sister." Chief Ade rushed out. "Is it confirmed?" Miss Nena nodded. "Yes. Called the morgue. It was a clean hit. No robbery. No message. Just gone." Fola stood, eyes empty. Zena placed a hand on his shoulder, but he didn't feel it. Chief Ade whispered, "This is the Shadow's revenge." Fola whispered, "She had nothing to do with this." An hour later, at the Lion's Circle altar, a candle was lit for Sei Akinyemi, the youngest sister of the lion. Bright, joyful, innocent. Fola placed a photo of her in a frame. Tears dropped from his eyes, falling onto the cold stone. Chief Ade placed a hand on his back. "This war has touched your blood," he said. "Now your fire must speak louder than your pain." Fola nodded slowly. Then he whispered, "Tomorrow, we release everything. Not through a news station. Not through a press conference. We go straight to the people. Street by street. School by school. If Ajala wants war, he'll get one." Morning broke with a dull sky over Lagos, but inside the Lion's Circle headquarters, a new kind of energy was building. Not fear, but fire. After the loss of Sei, something shifted in Fola. His shoulders were heavier, his voice deeper. But his eyes were like a lion's now. Chief Ade stood beside him, staring at the hard drive one last time. "It's time," Fola said. "No more waiting. No more speeches. Let the people carry the truth." The plan was simple. If the TV stations wouldn't air the full truth, if politicians blocked press releases, then the streets would become the screen. Miss Nena led the team. They split the data from the drive into short, shocking video clips, under 90 seconds each. One clip showed Ajala signing a fake charity receipt. Another revealed a secret meeting with foreign agents. A third showed Kemi's tearful testimony. And one had Fola's voice, raw and broken, saying, "They took my sister, but they won't take the truth." Then came the real genius. They dropped the clips across WhatsApp, TikTok, Telegram, and even old-fashioned Bluetooth in computer cafes. QR codes were painted on walls in Mushin, Surulere, Kano, Wari. University students wore T-shirts with the words, "Scan for the truth." Okada men played the videos on their phones. Market women passed them around with pepper and tomatoes. Children sang a new chant. "Ajala thief. Fola lion. Truth day come." In just 12 hours, the entire country was buzzing again. But this time, the information wasn't controlled by newsrooms. It was in the hands of the people. But inside the walls of the circle, something darker was brewing. Miss Nena stormed into the private control room, holding a printed email. Her face was tight. "Who had access to the inner broadcast plan?" she demanded. Chief Ade looked up. "Why?" She slapped the paper on the table. "This email was leaked to Ajala's media team. Even before the videos dropped." Fola frowned. "So we have a mole." Miss Nena nodded. "Someone inside the circle is feeding Ajala real-time information." Zena folded her arms. "It has to be someone high up. Only 6 of us knew the schedule." Chief Ade's eyes narrowed. "Then one of the lions. is also a snake. Later that evening, Fola and Zena stood in front of the giant outdoor screen at Freedom Square, where a crowd had gathered, thousands of ordinary Nigerians. They played the videos one by one. People cried. Some screamed. One woman shouted, "He stole my child's school lunch." A man yelled, "My cousin died in that tunnel." Fola stepped forward with a loudspeaker. "I did not come here to beg for power. I came to give you the truth. This is your country, not a Jala's." The crowd roared. Zena raised her fist. "Lagos, stand for what's right." From behind the scenes, Miss Nena whispered into her mic. "Video files spreading across 28 states. That's more than we ever imagined." But just as they began to celebrate, a text arrived on Fola's phone. Unknown number. "Nice show, Fola. But your leak cost you. The real betrayal is already inside. Good luck." Fola looked around. Zena noticed. "What is it?" He showed her the message. Her eyes widened. "You think the mole is here tonight?" He nodded slowly. "Not just here." He turned toward the crowd and whispered, "I think they're watching me." Freedom Square was still roaring. Children waved small banners. Market women chanted. Okada riders did slow laps around the crowd, playing Fola's videos on mini Bluetooth speakers. But in the middle of all that joy, danger was waiting. Fola held the loudspeaker close to his chest. His smile had faded. He whispered to Zena, "Something's wrong." That text wasn't a threat. It was a warning. Zena scanned the crowd. "Do you see anything?" "No, but I can feel it." He looked around carefully. At the rooftops, the back corners, the stage lights, the people with cameras. Then he saw something odd. A security agent he didn't recognize, standing near the speaker control box. Face covered in shades, even at dusk. No lion's circle badge. Fola nudged Zena. "Who's that?" Before she could respond. Boom! An explosion rocked the left side of Freedom Square. Screams filled the air. People fell to the ground. Smoke rose. Fola and Zena dropped low instantly. "Move!" shouted Miss Nena over her earpiece. "We've been hit. Evacuate Fola now." Zena grabbed Fola's arm. "Come on." Through the vendor stalls. But Fola was frozen, eyes wide, watching the panic. Children crying. Man bleeding. Vendors scattering. They did this just to silence us. Zena yelled. "Focus. We can't help anyone if they take you next." Fola nodded, blinking fast. Okay, go." Meanwhile, at the top of the square, Chief Ade and Miss Nena ran emergency protocols. Two of their own were injured. One speaker van was destroyed. And the cameras were offline. Someone had cut the feed. "Sabotage," Nena muttered. "Planned from the inside." She grabbed her walkie-talkie. "Team Black, lockdown now. Find that fake agent. Don't let him vanish." In the smoke and chaos, Fola and Zena slipped behind a row of pepper sellers and ducked into an alley. Behind them, crowds scattered as security tried to restore order. In the step west, someone was running behind them. Zena pulled a small pepper spray from her bag. Fola turned and nearly sprayed. "Kemi." She was panting. "I saw him. The man who planted the device. He was dressed like one of us, but I know his face. I saw him before. At the compound where they kept me." Zena asked. "Where did he go?" Kemi pointed toward the parking lot. "He had a bag. Full of wires." Fola's heart dropped. Another bomb. Iran. Back near the cars, the fake agent threw the wired bag into a delivery bike storage box. He muttered to himself. "Second one goes off in 10 minutes. Just enough to make the people fear Fola." He closed the bike's box and turned to leave. But someone stood behind him. Miss Nena. She raised her weapon. "Your time's up." He grinned. "Even if you kill me, the timer's already ticking." From the shadows, Chief Ade stepped out and tossed a stun device. Crack. The man fell. Nena shouted into her mic. Team Blue, find that delivery bike. Fola reached the lot just as the team located the bike. There! Someone yelled. A tech pulled the wires, with 2 minutes left on the countdown. Everyone held their breath. Blick. Silence. The bomb didn't go off. It was defused. The crowd cheered. People ran forward to thank Fola, to hug Zena, to lift Kemi in the air. But Fola didn't smile. He whispered to Zena. This was a warning. The mole is still in our house. And they're willing to kill, to keep us quiet. The night after the Freedom Square bombing, Lagos didn't sleep. The people were afraid. But they were also angry. News of the second bomb, defused just seconds before detonation, spread faster than fire. Fola's name became a symbol of resistance, but the Lion's Circle knew the truth. The enemy was inside. At the Circle headquarters, tension filled the air like smoke. Miss Nena paced in front of a whiteboard, where names of all the top members were listed. She circled 3 names in red. These are the only people who had full access to the event's plans, she said. Chief Ade, Elder Musa, Elder Tolani. The room went quiet. Elder Musa was the oldest member. He had served alongside Chief Ade since the early days. Elder Tolani was sharp, respected, and rich, one of the circle's major donors. Chief Ade looked troubled. Nena, are you saying one of my own elders is the mole? Nena replied. I'm saying the traitor isn't outside anymore. They sit at this table. Fola clenched his jaw. Zena leaned in and whispered, Don't act yet. Later that day, while walking through the corridor, Fola overheard Elder Musa talking on the phone. He paused behind a pillar. The old man's voice was low, trembling. Yes, I gave him access. But it was supposed to be safe. Just to delay the speech, not to kill anyone. He promised there'd be no harm. Fola's chest tightened. He's talking about Ajala. Musa continued. I'm sorry. I didn't know Fola's sister would be involved. I was only trying to protect the circle from collapsing. Fola's fists clenched. Suddenly Musa turned, and saw Fola standing there. Silence. Musa, Fola said quietly. It was you. The old man's eyes filled with tears. I didn't know they would go that far. Swear. I was just scared of a full-blown war. I thought if I fed Ajala small information, we could stop this without more blood. Fola's voice shook with emotion. You call that small? My sister is dead. Innocent people are hurt. We trusted you. Musa dropped to his knees. I'm old, Fola. I've seen coups, riots, betrayals. I was tired. I thought maybe the boy from the streets wasn't ready. Fola turned his back. You're right. I was from the streets. But I was ready to fight. You weren't. He walked away. In the conference room, Fola placed a recording device on the table. Everyone listened to Musa's confession. Elder Tolani whispered. So, it was him. Chief Ade said nothing. Miss Nena looked heartbroken. He was one of our founding lights. Fola stood before the council and said, We don't need lights that flicker when the wind rises. We need fire. Chief Ade finally spoke. Musa will be stripped of his title and exiled from the circle. His name will not be erased, but it will no longer lead us. Musa did not protest. He only wept silently as he left the room. Outside, the people were still waiting for the next move. They had seen the bombs. They had seen the truth. But now, they waited for justice. And Fola knew. We've exposed the traitor in our house. Now it's time to tear down Ajala's empire, from the inside. 3 days after Elder Musa's exile, Lagos began to breathe again. The people, though still shaken, were now hopeful. Fola's name was no longer just a whisper. It had become a movement. But inside the Lion's Circle war room, the leaders were focused on something far bigger than headlines. Ajala's money. Because no matter how loud the people shouted, until they cut off the source of Ajala's wealth, the war would never truly end. Miss Nena stood before a digital map projected on the wall. Ajala's entire network depends on 3 major accounts, she explained. They're not under his name. They're locked under a coded family trust, controlled only by someone from his bloodline. Fola frowned. So how do we unlock them? Chief Ade replied. We can't. But she can. Everyone turned to the screen behind them, where a photo appeared. A young woman in her late 20s. Sharp eyes. Confident posture. Traditional scarf on her neck. Her name. Adejua Ajala. Ajala's only daughter. Zena raised an eyebrow. Wait. I thought she was in Dubai. Miss Nena nodded. She was. But our team spotted her 2 days ago. Quietly flown into Abuja under a private name. Rumor says she's angry with her father. Chief Ade added. She once fought with him over funds stolen from a foundation she started. They haven't spoken in over a year. Fola leaned forward. So, we find her. Talk to her. If she gives us access. Nena finished the thought. We can shut down every account and freeze billions. Zena asked. And if she says no? Chief Ade looked at Fola gravely. Then you convince her. That evening, Fola boarded a private van headed for Abuja. With him were Zena, Miss Nena, and 2 discreet bodyguards. On the way, Zena asked, How do you talk to the daughter of the man who killed your sister? Fola didn't answer immediately. Then he said softly, I won't speak to her like Ajala's daughter. I'll speak to her like a Nigerian tired of watching her people suffer. They met Adejua in a quiet rooftop cafe. Heavily guarded and shielded from public eyes. She wore dark shades and a silk scarf, but her posture was sharp. Fola, she said coolly. The boy from the gutter. The voice of Lagos. Fola nodded. And you, the heiress of the empire we're trying to break. He smirked. So why am I here? Fola leaned in. Because I know you're not like him. I've read your letters. I know you funded schools, real ones. Until he stole your name to build fake ones. Adejua's jaw tightened. He continued. I know you left the country because you were ashamed. But now you're back. That means something. She said nothing. Then Zena added softly. You can choose your blood, or choose the people. You can stay silent, or be the woman who helped save Nigeria. Adejua took off her shades. Her eyes were red. She whispered, I have the codes. I memorized them. But if I give them to you. Fola finished. Ajala's reign ends. She nodded, and slowly reached into her bag, pulling out a small piece of folded paper. Here, she said. Burn it after. Fola took it, heart pounding. Adejua stood. One more thing, she said. After this, you never speak of me again. Not to your team. Not to the press. Not to anyone. Fola agreed. Back in Lagos, the codes were entered. One by one, Ajala's secret accounts began to collapse. Frozen. Flag. Millions gone. And Ajala would soon find out. In a secret mansion hidden deep within the Abuja hills, Chief Ajala stood frozen in front of his tablet. He tapped again. Then again. And again. Access denied. Count frozen. Account terminated. His hands trembled. He turned slowly to his advisor. Who did this? The man stuttered. We believe it was your daughter. Fola. Ajala's face twisted. Fola. You've taken my reputation, my secrets, and now my money. He swept the tablet off the table. Then I'll take your city. Back in Lagos, the news broke fast. Breaking. Ajala's foreign accounts seized. EFCC confirms over 120 billion Nigerian nairas frozen. Fola Akinyemi declares, the lion has no more teeth. The streets celebrated. Crowds gathered. Drums played. Posters of Fola and Zena were everywhere. But behind the smiles, Fola knew the war was not yet over. He sat with Miss Nena, Chief Ade, Zena, and Kemi inside the strategy room. This is Ajala's end, Miss Nena said. He's finished. Fola shook his head. No. A wounded lion is the most dangerous. Later that night, a shocking message came through a private police channel. Fola read it aloud.